Here's my list of the top 5 anime series of 2025. Honorable mention: The Summer Hikaru Died. The premise for this show is fascinating. What would happen if you met your friend one day, but you could tell that they'd been replaced by something else? Something that mimicked your friend's words and movements almost perfectly, but with enough difference that you could perceive the stranger staring out at you behind this person's gaze. This is the situation that Yoshiki finds himself in one summer. He knows his friend Hikaru has died, and he knows that something else has replaced him and is trying to live Hikaru's life for him. But since he cannot yet bear the loss of his friend, he decides to let this creature play out his deception. The complex plotting that the show builds around that initial premise leads to an anime that is consistently interesting and often thought-provoking. The Summer Hikaru Died is at its best, in my opinion, when examining the clash between Yoshiki's memories of Hikaru and the simulation of him that the new being tries to perform in his place. This forces Yoshiki to confront his feelings about the past as well as the present at the same time. If you like plot twists and secret reveals, then this show is right up your alley. Number 5. Rock is a Lady's Modesty. There were several good shows this year featuring cute girls doing cute things, and this one was by far my favorite. It had a punk rock edge both literally and figuratively that helped it stand out from the crowd and made the whole experience enjoyable from beginning to end. This show carries over the age-old tradition from 2024 of anime girls in a band going around flipping people off, and if that becomes a standard trope in anime, then I'm all for it. Lilisa and Otoha meet at a super strict all-girls school for the rich, and they find out that they both love playing rock and roll. They form a band that eventually adds 2 more cast members, and the race is on to try to make a name for themselves before they either get caught by the high society snobs around them, or the personalities in the band tear the group apart like a pork chop in a bear cage. The cast is fun, and the stakes are just high enough to keep things exciting while still being relaxing overall. Now, there are moments of profanity or sexual references that won't be for everyone. Basically, if you would leave someone at home when you go to a rave, then they're probably not ready for this one. But most everyone else would probably enjoy these rocker girls. Number 4. Apocalypse Hotel. Apocalypse Hotel is one of the better comedies of the year, and it helps that it's an original sci-fi series as well. If you haven't seen it yet, you should check it out right away, because even though it's in my top 5 this year, for a lot of people, this is a 10 out of 10. While I'm not quite there with them, I do think this series has a 10 out of 10 protagonist in Yachio. She's the unfailingly determined android who's trying to keep the Gingaro Hotel afloat many years and even centuries after all the humans had to leave the planet to avoid a virus. Eventually, the absent human guests are replaced with visitors of a different sort from various regions of the galaxy. The humor in this show is on point, and I like the show more as it went along. It's also fun to see a story take place on this kind of timescale and involve creatively designed creatures that show off the artist's imaginations. By the time it ends, you'll have seen an android's long lifespan, a family of Tanakis who experience time on a different scale, and the story of the planet itself as Earth sheds the husks of our own civilization and begins to welcome in a new era. And watching the calm and serious Yachio lose her cool over weapons of mass destruction or a missing shampoo hat never gets old. There's a good chance that if you watch this hidden gem, you might find one of your favorite shows from 2025. Number 3. The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity is a romance show that maybe doesn't do anything spectacular, but that does everything right. Okay, Karuko's hair is pretty spectacular, but my main point is that the writing and production values are solid all around, while not necessarily breaking new ground. High schoolers Karuko and Rintaro slowly realize that they have crushes on each other, and since they're inexperienced in love, they have a hard time branching out to the other person. It doesn't help that the schools that they go to get along like oil and water, so there's almost a Romeo and Juliet feel to this would-be romance at first. This is the only show that made me cry all year, and it wasn't with the main romance. It was when Rintaro's mom hears his friends discussing just how much they love Rintaro and what a great guy they think he is. This is a woman who dyed her hair and pierced her ears to match her son when he decided that that would be a cool look. And she never lost faith that this was a gentle and caring person that she was raising, even if he had difficulty finding friends and no one else seemed to see the goodness in him for years. So to finally hear that several people respected his kindness and saw what she saw in her son was a true breakthrough moment for her. This show is not just a love story between 2 people. It's about many people coming together to support each other. Family, friends, people from different schools, as well as Rintaro and Karuko themselves. In a year with several good romance series, this is the one that I enjoyed the most. Number 2. Medalist. This show is so good. I love that season 2 is just around the corner. At its core, Medalist is an underdog story about a couple of underdogs. 11-year-old Inori, who wants to become an Olympic figure skater, and her coach Tsukasa, a former competitive figure skater himself who also got a late start in the sport. Inori is such a fun character to root for, and watching her rise through the ranks of the figure skating world is very satisfying. There are a lot of parallels between this story and Glass Mask, one of my favorite anime that also features an underdog protagonist trying to break into a world that is very rigid and competitive and does not take kindly to outsiders. Like Glass Mask, there's also a seemingly perfect rival figure that the protagonist lags far behind at first. In this case, it's Hikaru, a girl around Inori's age who seems to be on the fast track to representing Japan at the Olympic Games one day. Like The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, Medalist uses a lot of tried-and-true anime tropes that have worked for other series, but manages to rise above many of those shows through its overall level of quality at almost every stage of production. I never regretted watching an episode of Medalist, and if they animate all of Inori and Tsukasa's journey to the Olympics, then I plan to be there for every step of the way. Number 1. Dandadan Season 2. Season 1 of Dandadan was super fun and immaculately produced, but I think Season 2 hit even harder. I loved being able to start the season with Gigi already in place. I thought he was a great addition to the cast at the end of the last season. How can the same guy be so annoying and so likable at the same time? Season 2 had even more insane psychic powers, more overpowered enemies, and more breathtaking fight scenes than ever. Season 1 felt at times like it was mostly about assembling the team and establishing just how crazy the show could get. My favorite moment from that season was where we got that brilliant montage showing Acro Silky's backstory. That scene let us know that this series was willing to explore some of the darkest impulses of human nature, while showing us some of the more heartwarming and compassionate moments in the series as well. I felt like Season 2 had several more of that type of scene, showing us both the darkness and the light that this anime is able to show. Who knew that this zany metaphor for adolescence, featuring the hunt for a lost testicle, would turn into one of the better shows of the year? Aside from everyone who saw the first season, of course. We knew. Science Saru has been crushing it with Dandadan, and I can't wait to see what they do with the inevitable Season 3. There were 17 shows that I considered for this list, so there's a good chance that some of your favorites were left off. Let me know your top 5 in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.